Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ultras 11. I'm Jose.
And I'm Al.
Before we get started, as usual, don't be stupid. Go follow us, like us, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. We have actually been getting a lot of engagement on Instagram, which is one of our things, and we do enjoy it. We comment back to everything. Well, we try to at least, and for the most part, we've been doing well with that. But we love having the conversations. We love the banter, even if you want to make fun of the way I look, the way Al looks.
Or even they want to say Joe has zero ball knowledge in every post.
Yeah, or make fun of because I pronounce Ballon d'Or, Ballon d'Or. Like, it's okay. It's engagement.
You're not Christian Dior, you idiot.
Yeah, I got a lot of stick for that. Something I grew up saying, Ballon d'Or, not going to lie. I thought the apostrophe was always an I. I don't know. Whatever,
okay,
we're
it's
here.
okay. You live and you learn.
Yeah, well, clearly I still haven't learned. I'm 28 now and still
Neither have they, because we keep breaking balls about following and subscribing, and they still haven't. So, guys, it's simple. Like Joe said, just do
follow,
it.
dude.
Just do it. Like you said, just do it.
And again, if you don't like the topics we bring up, what we speak about, whatever, hey, let us know. We put out a post today saying, comment, tell us what you want to hear and stuff like that. We always want to know what you want to hear because we probably want to hear it too, or we didn't even think about it, but you brought it up to us finally, So jumping into things. The Real football. We had a lot of football this weekend, and not American football. That happened too.
That was also very big this weekend.
Yeah, that was big this weekend. We had some stuff that is kind of unsavory. It seems to be like a common thing that happens within football. Sometimes football actually doesn't take the headlines or the content or this or that or players transfers or anything like that. It's never something groundbreaking. It's more so people just abusing their ability of freedom of speech. And over the weekend, we had another incident where the Udinese fans, after they scored, rather than celebrating and high-fiving each other and cheersing, having a drink, whatever you usually do when you're happy, they decided they would prefer to yell out racial slurs to Mike Magnan. Instead of celebrating again, like the low end club actually is competing against a top team. But regardless of that, we've seen this song and dance before. We've seen stadium bans. We've seen fines for the club itself. But this doesn't scare the supporters. Even rewind 2 weeks ago, Roma versus Lazio, you saw them literally shooting flares off into each other's
and bottles.
Throwing balls and stuff like that. And realistically, the team gets a fine of $10K, $150K, a stadium ban, whatever. But that's nothing to do with the supporters. So is there something else the league or the club itself should be doing to kind of make a statement for condemning these actions?
I mean, obviously, of course. But, the problem is the league wants to wash their hands and, like we've seen in the past, kind of put it on the club and say, okay, you know what? We're going to fine the club. And, they can, deal with the situation. And now these stadiums have all these cameras, you saw I know you went to stadium. They have that camera. You type in your seat number and it'll show you pictures of you at that game. It's insane. So obviously it's a lot easier now to find these guys that are doing it in certain, stadiums. But the problem is you're not like you said, it's not hurting them enough and it's not scaring them enough for it to stop. We talk about this every year, whether it's on the podcast or in my garage or in the group chat. We're always talking about this, and now it's laughable because it's still going on in 2024, and the leagues hasn't done anything about it other than put out a campaign that they used monkeys for.
I remember
I somewhat kind of get what they were trying, but in a racial campaign that people are literally making monkey noises and throwing bananas at players, which I don't get because they're targeting these players when their own team has them.
Yeah.
So I don't know what these fans, honestly, how many times they were dropped when they were a kid, or just it goes past how they were raised, because you got to be stupid that you're still doing this stuff for a soccer game.
Yeah.
And the fact that the league doesn't come in like how they did in the Prem a while ago when this was a big issue. You stop the supporters from every game for the whole year. You have a stadium ban across the whole league for every team.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And who's that hurting? The fans. And hopefully with that, they can kind of learn their lesson.
Yeah.
Like, we all know Italians have a past of being racist.
Yeah.
And especially in Italy, they haven't really, got caught up to that it's 2024 now.
Yeah,
and,
no,
things are different.
They're just unemployed losers.
Yeah, they don't understand anything. And I feel like the only way to get to them is by hurting them, that they can't go watch their team, the team that they live and breathe for every day.
That's my thing I'm not understanding, right? Like in England, and this is the one thing, like I will honestly tip my hat to the way it is in England, because they genuinely have like a no-nonsense policy. I can't remember what was said or like what the incident was, but it was a Tottenham game, and they were on the away end, and they were doing something, I don't know if it was something racial or just essentially berating one of the players.
Yeah.
And that guy was fined, and he was kicked out. He wasn't allowed to return to another Tottenham game. His ticket was revoked, everything like that. And you don't see it happening.
No,
okay, obviously there's still instances. Racism will always be a thing.
But it gets dealt with. It gets dealt with, and it's very minimal. It's not happening, dude, every week. Doesn't matter if it's a top team playing or two, mid-table teams they're playing, and you hear about something happen that, there was racial abuse. And it's fucking insane, Joe,
dude, and
that it's still happening in Italy.
Only so much
all the league does is, we can't stand for this. We have to be better. We got to do this. We got to do that. And they talk about it, but there's no action. It's
funny because, like, for me, it's like, if you look at Italy, the national team setup, like, okay, there's some people that'll turn around and tell me, oh yeah, but Italy's never won a major competition with a person of color. This, that, whatever. But if you look back right now, our best Italian striker, like that is still currently playing, is a black man named Mario Balotelli. Now, okay, I'm not saying he's the best that could be playing for Italy, but you look at the numbers, you look at what he did when he did put on that jersey and stuff like that. Like, Balo was Italy's savior. They wouldn't have made it where they went without Balo there. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're now disrespecting one of your own in a sense. You're now disrespecting a guy that is going to be a flag bearer for you. And why? Because you're a loser? Like, I'm not understanding it. Like, there's only so much you could keep on condemning clubs for, like, oh yeah, hey, you guys were calling this guy this. Here's $100K fine. What does that mean? But why is it the club's fault that some of their fans
does nothing.
Are losers?
The fans learn nothing.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
they're not affected. They're not losing any money.
The guy that threw a glass beer bottle at Bove, he got $150 fine. What the heck is that? Like,
he'll pay it and throw 2 bottles next time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it now. He's even more pissed, and he's gonna go back and just throw another bottle.
Yeah. You're not teaching these guys anything. All you're teaching them is that, hey, you fuck up once, hey, you can do it again. You might get caught. Something might happen, but probably not. It might happen to the team. So you can just keep doing whatever you're doing, and it's not gonna change until something serious happens, and like it's gonna suck. Like, I mean, watching a game, watching a whole season where you're watching every game and there's no fans at any games is going to suck. Yeah. It's going to be like COVID all over again. But hey, you know what? If that's what it takes to fix this issue, or, get rid of majority of those kind of people and just those kind of problems, you know what? It's a win.
So be it. Yeah, exactly.
And you're not going to know until you do something major like that. So they can't just keep brushing this off and just, we got to do better. We got to do better. Teams got to do, fuck off, do something about it.
Magnan walked off the pitch when he was subjected to this racism. Like, at first he kind of tolerated a little bit of it, and then it just hit a point that he took his gloves off and he stormed off the pitch. Players backed him. The players all followed suit, like all the Milan players. My question for you now, Al, if he would have actually stayed off the pitch and he didn't want to come back and whatever it was, what would you say that game would then be forfeited by Milan, or would you have argued that the game should actually be forfeited by Udinese because of what happened? Or do you continue the game and you sub them out?
It should be forfeited by Udinese. But I think what would have happened was, because Milan walked off, they would have got the loss. They would have lost 3-0, and it is what it is. Maybe unless Udine kind of stood for it and said, like, you know what, okay, fine, we're gonna also walk off too, but we're gonna be the team to
if there's
forfeit.
some sort of compromise.
Yeah, and like they said that, and like, you know what, they did that. Okay, hey, you know what, they're doing that. But just the way the league is, and like I'm pretty sure, pretty positive in Serie A, like it happened another time. Somebody walked off the field, similar situation. They walked off, and like they were the referee was telling them like, hey, either like telling the coach like, hey, tell him to come back out or you guys are losing the game.
It wasn't in Serie A. It was in Portugal.
It was in Portugal.
It was Walter. No, not Walter. Something Marega.
Mhm.
I can't remember his first name. Marega, the big black guy. He was getting racially abused, and then he found like he scored a goal. He went up to the stands and he started like swearing at them and shit like that. And then he got a yellow card for that, actually, for him like retaliating that. And then he was leaving. He was just like walking off, and then they kept on telling him, "No, get back on the field, like whatever." I'm sorry, like this is where it comes back to that point that we always make, that these athletes are human beings as well. You know what I mean? And like you can't stress that enough. Like at the end of the day, there's only so much. Like, yeah, some people could use that as fuel. Some people could use it as rage, this, that, like, you know what I mean? Like it's all up for interpretation, but at the same time, it doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't. And again, man, it just makes it hard. Like imagine going to work every day and you have like a group of like 10 guys constantly there just chirping you and calling you every slur word against you the whole time. How would you feel? Yeah, okay, you know what? Some guys would be like, you know what? Whatever, fuck, I can work through. Like, I'm fine. I'm stronger than this. But it gets to a point where you're gonna be like, hey, no, fuck this. Like, I'm gonna snap. Like, this is insane. And like, it's not right. And you know what? I love Magnan for what he did. He stood up. He said, you know what? Fuck this. It's not worth it. And I never like seeing Milan win, just because obviously, rival team, it's a top team.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that game went the way it did, just to shut up those Udinese fans and like just celebrating too early and like being a cocksucker. Good. Fuck you. You guys lost now. I hope you guys get relegated.
I was honestly hoping like, okay, the result was only I think 2-1, but I was genuinely hoping like Milan just decide to absolutely dismantle Udinese because they get stuff like
they were
that.
Playing, the team was playing well. Udinese was holding them off. Like they're like counteracting them. They're playing very well, but Milan got the end result, and I'm so happy for it, just for the fans.
No, they deserve something like that, especially like it's like you said, you celebrated too early. Like, and how is that a form of celebration? For me, that's like, what? If I'm celebrating, I'm hugging, I'm jumping, I'm getting excited.
They start chirping.
I'm not snapping and chirping and making fun of the other team. Like, game's long. But anyways, kick racism out of football, end racism.
Keep racism out of football.
I said kick it.
And then,
like play on words.
And then keep it out of football.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
kick it and keep it out.
I thought you were saying keep it in. I'm like, what?
No.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was gonna say.
We just had
a whole debate, and now we're relapsing right there. No.
What are Udinese fans?
No, they're stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. Anyways. They're a fake Juve. They've always been a fake Juve. Cheers.
Man.
So switching over now across the sea, not North America. They're like way across from a picture or map or whatever. Over the summer, we witnessed a lot of players kind of sell their soul to the devil in rather weirder terms.
Yeah,
they accepted a lot of money. They left their European club for Saudi Arabia, which is fine. It's fine. We're not going to talk down about the league or whatever. Actually, we kind of will in a sense. But regardless, anyways,
we are getting right into that.
Now, halfway throughout the year, a number of these stars want to leave and are on the cusp of, finding new clubs. Either they're just like annulling their contracts. They're all just trying to find a way out. But on the flip side, you have a guy like Ronaldo that is coming out in a recent interview saying that Saudi Arabian League is on par with Ligue 1. So before we get to the players that are leaving and the stuff like that and whatever, I want to talk about Ronaldo's comments. Quick, simple. Do you actually believe that it's on par with Ligue 1?
No.
Okay.
Ligue 1 is a very bad league. It's not a top 5 league. But it still is better than the Saudi League and more competitive than the Saudi League, in my opinion. Ronaldo's comments, he was the first one to go there. He obviously, because obviously they're did they get the 2030 World Cup or they're trying to get the 2030 World Cup? They got it. Okay, so it's gonna be if their hats in there. Yeah, chances are they're gonna get it. They'll make sure of that. Yeah. So he's going there. He's there now. We all know Ronaldo's got a shit ton of money. He wasn't one of those players that went there for the money. He went there because there wasn't many options, and you know what? They probably promised him a lot in the long run.
He still got a lot of money.
No, he got a lot of money. I'm saying he probably got a lot of money in the long run that, he'll be set for the future. He already is, but even more set for like generational wealth.
Yes.
And I feel like all that, they told him, hey, you come, you play here, and all you have to do is promote the league.
Mhm.
You tell, whether it's telling people to come and play there, talking to them like personally or in an interview, or just talking about it very highly when being interviewed about it. And I feel like that's kind of part of the thing. And that's why he's making these comments, because you already know if Ronaldo was playing in League One and, still doing what he's doing, and someone else was, let's say Messi was there and Messi was saying, oh yeah, this league is on par with League One. Ronaldo, he would come out and say like, yeah, but you got a long way to go. Like League One is still a top league. It's a European league. He would. He's not saying that because he believes it, in my opinion. He's just saying that because
he's like an ambassador.
He has to. He's an ambassador.
Mhm.
He's selling that. They know that the World Cup's there. He's probably still going to be working for them at that point. He probably won't be playing. I mean, who knows? It's Ronaldo. He's still playing right now.
Don't even know,
so you really don't know. But they want him to be a big part of that. Maybe that's when he gets his. They say the fix was in for Messi this year. Maybe that's when he gets his. So that's why. So that's what I just think Ronaldo's comments is like. People were like, oh, you can't believe Ronaldo said this. And you can't look that much into it. Like the guy's playing there. He was the first one there. They fucking gave him everything pretty much like Mbappe's contract, but they gave him more.
Yeah.
And they also kind of gave him that freedom. And the reason why some of these players want to leave, they kind of were able to like, wiggle around and do certain things for just him, as long as he did, certain other things for them. So I think it was more just that. I don't think it was really he believes that.
I do agree with the part where League One is better than Saudi League. Obviously, one is buying talent, where the other one is creating talent, has a little bit more of a history, has a financial powerhouse, in PSG. But I do actually think, I do agree with the part where the ambassador thing, that he's trying to promote it. But I also think like Ronaldo does believe that.
Yeah.
Because my thing with Ronaldo has always been, he thinks he's like the top guy. You know what I mean? So like, if he is in a league, it's the best league in the world. You know what I mean? Like when he came to Juve, he thought Serie A, like, oh yeah, it's more technically capable than this, than that, like whatever. He was twerking for the league, and he's basically like, he believes wherever he is the best,
Yeah.
So that's where like I do think his comments, he was being very, very like truthful. I think he does think Saudi is a top 5 league. He thinks they're better.
That's what I'm saying. He just says these things just to make himself,
he's cocky, though.
Yeah, feel better and like make it sound, what he's done, that he scored, how many goals he did this year playing over there, making it seem like it's bigger than it actually was.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, there were, beautiful goals, majority of them, that they weren't just happens like everyone will say it was, but at the end of the day, you got to look at the league.
Yeah. And
quick question before you get into the next thing. So I was just thinking about this now. Okay, obviously not League One. Saudi League versus MLS, but wait, take out Messi and Ronaldo.
Okay, yes, I was gonna say, because
take them out of the equation, both of them.
Saudi,
league for league.
It's tough because this is the thing. Like Saudi, I would say, has kind of more star power in a sense, because like you'll see, like there's our teams, like there's Benzema, Firmino, Mane, Kante, Ronaldo. Okay, well, we're not talking about Ronaldo, but there's other players still, like Malcolm, who could be playing in a European league, in a top 5 European league, guys like that, whatever. Then you go over to MLS, and it's kind of like, I would say MLS developing wise, like there's more of a structure there. They have a core of youngsters. They are developing like a lot of South American talents, North American talents, whatever, whereas Saudi is just buying talent. I would say if you were to do an all-star game against both teams, I'd honestly have to say Saudi wins it. But I would say MLS is better for other reasons. Like I think it's just the overall star power Saudi has right now. Like they have a star goalie in Ospina.
But that's if they're still there.
Yes. Well, that's $1 million thing. After January, we'll see how the league stands. And then after whatever the next transfer market, we'll see how the league stands again. Which segue, love that for us. Like speaking of, if they will still be there, a lot of players are looking for a way out. Like Henderson, he just signed officially for Ajax. He wasn't getting paid. Apparently he didn't get paid so far, and he was promised X amount.
That's not bad.
Life sucked for him there, clearly. But for other players besides Henderson, realistically speaking, even when he left Liverpool, he would never be going to another top team because he was at that age. He never really was like a world beater per se on Liverpool.
Yeah.
But guys like Benzema, Firmino, like those guys, like, those are that's real star power. Could you actually see them returning to a top team?
Those, yeah, I mean, 100%, dude. Those guys,
like you could see Firmino going back to England, let's just say, and going on Spurs.
Yeah,
or
100%,
Arsenal, or
100%.
back to Liverpool.
See, no, not every team. Like I can't see, like it's not like, oh yeah, this guy here, he can fit into any team right now. Maybe not as a starter, but he can. That I don't think. Like teams like City, Arsenal. No, not really. I was gonna say Chelsea, but Chelsea, like they still kind of needs. They made a lot of signings, but they still need some. They might, but I genuinely think like these guys here can definitely go to a top 5 European team. Maybe not a number 1 like a Madrid, but they can definitely go to a team and help out. Whether that's a higher team, maybe like a Arsenal, but kind of as a depth, or to like a team like Roma or Napoli, where they might be a starter on the team.
Yeah.
Or I know, like I seen a report with like Benzema linked with Inter. I mean, I can see that happening, and I can see Inter using him and like Thuram kind of like swapping, like, kind of play him and for like the bigger matches, have Thuram there, that'd be good depth for them. So I can see these guys fitting on top teams. It just depends on who actually like needs that kind of player, whether it's depth or a starter.
And the salary, right? Because I don't know. I haven't really dove into all of this.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing that's holding the whole thing up.
Yeah, well, because Benzema, what's he getting? Like $100 million a year? Something crazy. So who the hell's gonna match that? He's gonna have to take a huge pay cut.
That's the biggest thing, is they're gonna all have to take pay cuts. Like, yeah, okay, hey, you went there for that much. You were promised this much, whether you got that or not our problem. You got to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
It's that they have to understand that. And if that's, you want to go back to Europe and play that kind of football and just not be in Saudi, you got to do that.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
No, I agree. You mentioned Benzema and how he was linked with Inter. So I'm gonna kind of break down, ask you about the other veteran players, star power, whatever. And where do you think they should end up, and what team could benefit from their veteran services? So Benzema. You said Inter already, but is there another team you could see him going to and benefiting?
I could see Benzema even try going out to the Prem. I could see him I could see United going for him.
He was linked with Chelsea as well.
That was the next thing I was going to say. I was going to say United. I was going to say Chelsea. I can see Tottenham, maybe kind of Tottenham still don't really have a proper number 9. They sold Kane.
They got Timo Werner.
They sold Kane. They got Werner, who, yeah, okay, he's good, but you bring in a guy like Benzema, and you have Werner, coming on as a sub to relieve him. That's a lot better than having that bird on the field and then having Werner.
Benzema's also 36 though, so you got to keep that in mind.
Dude, he can still play, man.
No, I agree. But I'm just saying,
I get it. Some people at 36, they're already retired and they can't play and they can't even move. Some guys at 36, they're still playing very good football. That you're yo, you can't retire because you're still playing at a crazy level.
Yeah.
So a guy like that, I feel like he can fit on a team like that in the Prem. Inter, I would say, probably just because they could make another run in Champions League. You never know. They're fighting for the league.
I don't know if you'd be eligible though to play in Champions League.
Why? Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
Yeah. They just have to
people could still play if they played already.
Yeah.
Now with that new rule change. With him, I mean, I could see those teams the most. I can't really see too many. I can't really see him going to Spain.
No,
Germany,
Spain, I think
they're already the teams there are set. I don't know, maybe Bayer Leverkusen, but if Xabi Alonso have to Xabi Alonso, would have to do some convincing and bring him over there. And then Firmino, Mane, guys like that. I mean, I feel like they could kind of go into any team. Firmino would be good as a super sub for a lot of teams. But I can also see Firmino, like we said, I could see him making a move to Roma. I know he was linked with them in the past. I can see that. I can see him going to a West Ham.
Yeah.
I can see him going to maybe he goes back to Germany. He goes to Bayer Leverkusen as a depth. Or he goes to Bayern Munich just to go there, or Dortmund. Like, I can see him making that move. So I can see Firmino kind of having a lot more options than Benzema.
I agree with that.
And a lot more teams interested than Benzema. And like Mane is like a tough one because like
Mane hasn't really been linked with a move
that's what I mean,
abroad
like,
or anything
he
like
hasn't
that.
really
I feel
been.
like he likes it there. He's getting paid.
But I'm trying to think if he were to leave and if he were to go anywhere where like he would be able to fit. Like, it probably I feel like him would be another, like, a team in the Prem, team in the Prem other than Liverpool and maybe Chelsea, because hey, people always go like Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea. You never know.
I could see Benzema honestly like working. Okay, I don't know if he would work well, but I want to say he would work well on a team like United. I would originally say Chelsea, but I'm just not too sure if Chelsea is being managed properly right now. Not that United is, but I'm saying like in terms of their signings,
Casemiro could like probably convince him to go there anyways.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, right? Like he would reunite with Casemiro. He would start as a striker, giving Højlund that good experienced veteran, not Marcus Rashford as the veteran anymore. Like, I think he would do well there, and he'd have a friend in Casemiro again. Chelsea is like obviously a good idea, but I just feel like a lot is wrong with Chelsea right now, like from like head office, in regards to like a transfer policy and what kind of vision they have for the team. Not that United's any better, but they're just more known to throw fucking money at these guys for no reason.
I agree.
Firmino, I would absolutely love to see him at Roma. And it's like you said, I feel like he has more options because of his versatility. He could play as a second striker. He could play as a striker. He could play even further behind as just like an attacking mid type of thing. Like he has that luxury. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did end up on a Bayern Leverkusen. Feeding Patrick Schick, feeding Dennis Undav, like stuff like that. With Roma, I would absolutely love him there because like I've always loved Firmino. I always said he was like kind of the heartbeat of Salah and Mane because he connected them together. I just don't think it's feasible for him to come to Roma financially speaking. On Juve, I think he'd be fantastic. And I think he would start, like a guy, like imagine him, Chiesa, and Vlahovic all linking up, like all three of them at the same time. Like that would be that would be beautiful to see.
Lovely.
And like it's a very possible thing because of his versatility and his ability, like a very selfless technical player. Mane, I can't see anyone grab him. Honestly, he like him, Kante, Ronaldo. I think those are three that it's like kind of dead in the water. Malcolm, definitely dead in the water. We already know he just chases the money and clout as a loser. But yeah. No, I'm trying to think of other players. Ospina basically retired already.
Like you mean Mendy, like the goalie, but I mean,
he
kind of fell off after.
I was gonna say,
he was not the same as what he used to be.
Yeah, like those two players.
Oh, I know one that would start on a lot of teams, and I would take him on Juve in a heartbeat. Milinkovic-Savic.
Yes. Well, he wants to leave.
He wants to leave too.
He was even saying apparently he wants to go back to Lazio.
Yeah, he said, well, yeah, you're talking a couple of players. Apparently, there's a guy I want to come back, but like could have meant I want to come back to Italy, not Lazio.
Yeah, no one wants to go back to
Lazio. They're like, oh, he wants to come back to us. That's what he said. He said to me. He said he wants to come back.
He probably just spoke to like Luis Alberto about how much they hate Lazio. Agreed and said, yeah, but I'd be down to go back to Italy. Like, and then every Lazio fan interpreted differently because
we get.
Yeah, I don't want to say the next
part.
Pretty
empty up there.
I don't want to say the next part because I don't want to be canceled again. But yeah, regardless, last week
off to the better team in Rome.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna talk because now I'm gonna get filled with like Ach and get all stressed out talking about Lazio. Last week we talked a little bit about not a little bit. We went on a whole tangent actually. About
we made it a long episode last week.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Last week we talked about De Rossi signing for Roma. I talked about Roma a lot. We saw them get underway and we saw them get a win. We saw them change the formation to a back four and play somewhat attractive football, just the first half at least. Last week it was all about me and my opinion on everything. But this week I'm gonna ask Al his perspective on things. Now I could care about what he thinks because last week I was in my own element. But Al, how do you think the overall game went, and how did you think De Rossi fared as a coach?
To be honest, I actually wanted to watch the game and was free this weekend and was able to watch the full game. So I'm happy about that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, but I didn't watch.
No. I generally I wanted to see, especially man, like a guy like De Rossi, like I know he never played for Juve, but having these guys come back, like it's just the nostalgia seeing them. Like it's when Pirlo coached his first game with Juve. I was like, holy shit! Like it's just a different feeling. So like I know what it feels like. I've been through it. I wanted to see now, what he's gonna do and how the team kind of recoups after that whole thing that kind of, Mourinho got sacked out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, oh my God, what the fuck's happening? Then boom, oh shit, De Rossi's here. What the hell's he doing here? Wait, is our coach? Holy fuck. So that whole thing happened. And after watching the game, I do think De Rossi will do well there. I do think he can not just because his style, I just really think that he can get through to these guys and, maybe not play the most attractive football all the time, but make these guys fight for the jersey and understand what it means to wear the jersey. Because, you've seen it happen at Juve over the last, 3-4 years that, for the longest time, Juve would win those games last second. You're fighting till the end. And the last couple of years, it wasn't like that. Finally, now, okay, Juve's turning around and we're seeing a lot more of it. Some games a little bit fucking getting more atched than others. But with this team, I think De Rossi can really get through to them like that and bring that fucking grinta back to these guys and give them that fucking passion for the team.
Actually, that's the one thing I was lacking.
The first half, it looked very well. You can't judge it too much because, everyone's, all excited. Everyone's got this energy. Everyone's just, got the juices flowing. So, like, you knew that Roma was going to come out and they were going to come out flying. And they did. They played very well that first half. Second half, you saw them kind of try to control the game, but also try to let, them come to it, like for them to defend and just, not try to concede, but they were just, okay, I get it. Rui Patricio should have had the shot. Oh, it was a beautiful shot, but you can't let those situations happen, man. You saw it with North Macedonia and Italy. Yeah. Sometimes those shots there, okay, it's far out. You're like, hey, we can take a chance, but you also still want to block it or deflect it if something.
Shut the guy down.
You want to try to shut it down as much as you can because, man, you never know what can happen, what bounce it could take, what can happen. Yeah. So you always got to be careful. And they conceded the goal. They kind of held off. They didn't let anything in. They still got the win. So good on De Rossi. First win with Roma. First game. Beautiful to see. Now I just want to see, I really want to see, 5-6 games in, how he's got them playing and how he's handling the team. Because the first, 1 game, 2 games, you're not going to really see his ideas. You're not going to see his whole style and everything yet until you get to that 5-6 game mark. And he'll still need time. But I feel like that will be like when you can really give him that test and see how he does.
Yeah.
But no, I think overall, I think Roma played very well. They are capable of it. He got the best out of them, and hey, hopefully he can fucking continue this, man.
I think quick for me, I think he finally.
We already heard what you said.
Yeah,
man.
quick after watching the game, I think he finally utilized the strengths of Roma. Something that not going to talk down, but something that Mourinho didn't do.
Yeah.
Our mid is probably our strongest part right now. Obviously everyone's going to say, no, your attack, Lukaku and Dybala. Dybala was a ghost.
Yeah.
And that goes to show you, you literally had Bove controlling the tempo, playing Nangolan box to box. Amazing to see.
Very well.
Pellegrini then set, linking up the midfield to the attack. Paredes dictating tempo, getting the ball deep, bringing it up, whatever. You didn't see Dybala's brilliance and all the stuff that Mourinho said about how if Dybala plays well, Roma plays well. No, he actually played very bad. It was just finally
I didn't even notice he was playing until
you know what I mean? He was genuinely a ghost, and it's nice to see because then it's there's not a reliance on Dybala.
Yeah,
we could win a game with him being injured. We could get these goals. Is it still one of those things that maybe he was just a ghost because he was being double covered and everyone knows about his ability? It could be.
Especially when Mourinho was still there. If Dybala wasn't playing or if he wasn't playing, he wasn't doing anything, wasn't playing well, you noticed Roma would play bad. They couldn't do nothing. Yeah. They could not do anything. And like we said, dude, because at the beginning of the game, I saw the thing on Twitter. It was listen, he got a knock or something that he might not start for them anymore, whatever. Saw that. I was like, oh shit. Then I started watching the game. It was a couple minutes in, started watching. And dude, it literally, I think at like the 25th minute, I was like, wait, Dybala's playing? I'm like, man,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I'm like, I did not know he was playing.
And like that's nice to see for me.
It
I
is.
prefer that over like
Baby steps.
like individuals carrying
Yeah.
teams. Like obviously it's nice when an individual does.
You want that individual brilliance, but
yeah, but
not
that's
all the
like I don't
time.
want that every game.
Yeah.
You know, I rather the team does well. So we saw like this could be benefiting Roma, the coaching change. Are there any other teams right now that you think could use like a swap in management, a new coach, a fresh start in a sense this January? That could actually better them, not make them worse or like
I mean, I feel like the only team and the only right answer to that, number one, is Milan. I think, Pioli, he'll get results here and there, not going to be consistent. He's not going to do what he did a couple years ago. Milan really need a change, and I feel like they're not going to do it or take any put anything into action unless he goes on a very, very bad run. Which that's the thing. Like Milan still have they have a good enough group where I can't see them going on like a 3-4 game loss or like not even pick up a win in 3-4 games.
Individual brilliance.
A lot
of
and
players
it keeps happening. But I feel that they need to get rid of him, move on from him, bring in someone that will now take this team to the next level because they've hit their ceiling and they're not moving past it. He's brought them, whether it was him or Ibra. I know it was Ibra, but people will say Padre Pioli, Pioli's on fire, whatever. He needs to go. Milan need to move on from him, bring in another coach, and as long as it's the proper coach, you'll see how much better Milan does. And they're like now you're like Milan doesn't even scare me. Like they're not even for how many points back. Like they're not a scary team. Like I used to look at them a couple years ago.
Yeah,
they don't have that anymore. And a lot of them comes from Pioli, and I feel like that's one team that can really benefit off getting that. Another team, you can maybe say is Lazio, but I don't put too much on him. I put it on, them losing the owner and them losing Milinkovic-Savic, and now they're getting exposed. You see how big of a piece that guy was on that team and what he did for that team.
Immobile being injured, like whatever.
Immobile is shit. Immobile was just
but I'm saying like he did get them their goals.
He got their goals.
They don't have a guy tapping it in. Like,
look back at the majority of the assists came from Savic. Him swinging in a ball from half or from the other side of the fucking field. That's what he did, and you see that now. And like you can maybe argue Sadi, but like I'd put that more on like the players and the owner rather than him.
Yeah. See, for me, the two teams I would say, like, okay, obviously, like Milan is there as well, but I see Milan, like, for me, their goal should be just finishing in the top 4. Like, however they get that, like, they get that. I don't think they're good enough, and they didn't improve or do anything crazy enough to actually be a top team in Italy, like number 1. I still think that's reserved for Inter or Juve. I would say my two teams are definitely Chelsea. I know you guys are going to get flashbacks of me saying like 2-3 weeks ago that Pochettino's a good coach. I do think Pochettino's a good coach. I will still stand by that. I just don't think he does well with these big teams, which is a fair statement because a lot of coaches don't do well with big teams, but they do well with mid-table or mediocre sides and over-exceeding in a sense. Like Southampton, over-exceeded. Tottenham, definitely over-exceeded. Now at Chelsea, where it's actually a top team and you're supposed to be top 4 and whatever, you're not getting that. They're still close. They're still in the hunt for that top spot. But I just don't think Pochettino has the mentality that Chelsea needs.
Man. I don't think so. I don't think he's the right coach.
And like you see some of the decisions he's making, like with his players, like, okay, I don't know if he had much of a say on getting rid of Maatsen, but why? Why is Maatsen gone? That's a guy that he has the versatility to play right back, left wing back, right mid, left mid. Like he's a through and through winger on either side, and he does well. Preseason, he was fucking doing amazing. He was killing it. Yet he's the first one gone. You have Levi Colwill, who's a through and through center back, playing left back. What's going on? You're not Mikel Arteta with your visionary making Zinchenko play left back, but he's actually a CDM. Like, no, you're not doing that. You're literally hindering your own players. It's to me, like, I just think he has it all wrong. His positional sense is all wrong. And Nkunku and Sterling are kind of, and Cole Palmer, they're carrying that attack. And that should be your front 3. Nico Jackson, okay, I did praise you. I do think he has potential and he's very raw, but maybe ease him in a little bit better. Let him come off the bench. 70th minute, he has a crazy speed. Just let him kind of cook defenders in that regard. until he gets his feet, until he develops some sort of form.
Yeah.
You know, like Nkunku's a good player. You know what you're getting out of him. Same with Sterling and same with Cole Palmer. So why not just try to ride that? Gallagher, good player, but he's not a Chelsea player in my opinion. Like he's not really built to be a part of that technical midfield they have. But that's Pochettino's guy.
Yeah.
He twerks for him. So I definitely think a guy to replace Pochettino is just who's available. That's the $1 million question. Honestly, I think Mourinho would work for them. And to salvage the season,
Number 3?
Pardon me?
Bring him back.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3?
I thought you were saying number 3 for like something else. Like
no. Like I was not saying like goalie number 3. Third time.
Yeah, but like like Mourinho's a perfect coach to get you results, and with the financial backing Chelsea would be giving him, like you already know Todd Bowley will fucking give him the world.
Yeah.
Will he get them back in Champions League this season? That's up for debate. They are on like a weird they're in a weird spot. They're close to the Champions League, but they're not. They're inconsistent. So like I don't know if this season is basically like a write-off.
Yeah.
But Mourinho could be a good guy for them given the financial backup he would have.
He's available.
Shorter term that could salvage something. I actually can't even think of it. But again, definitely a team that could do
Frank Lampard.
It's not Graham Potter, Harry Potter. Then the second team that I would say, probably Napoli, man.
I was gonna say Napoli.
Probably Napoli, but
just brought in thing like
that's the thing. Like they just brought in a new coach.
Yeah.
And do you really want to be known as a team that went through 3 coaches in 1 year? No. But to me, it's kind of like an embarrassing title defense. You know, okay, I get it.
Definitely worse than Milan's.
Yes. Oh, dude, 100%. I'm sorry, Nick. I love you. Don't be mad at me. But I just think like, okay, Mazzarri's great. It's a nostalgia. You know, he'll always come back to try to resurrect his club. I just think they hired Rudy Garcia, who was a mistake. They learned from their mistake. You bring in Mazzarri, and then now what's the goal? Is it to be back in Europe? Is it to just survive? Like what is your true end goal here?
I don't even know.
You should have probably taken a little bit more time, looked for another coach, like a guy. Like honestly, I would have, if I'm Napoli, I would have looked at a guy like Italiano from Fiorentina. Like, okay, would you be able to pull him away? Probably not.
Conte, he was available.
Conte won't go because him and De Laurentiis would butt heads way too much.
I'm
seeing a lot actually about Mourinho being linked with Napoli, that he's still in Rome, but
he still wants to stay in Italy. He doesn't want to leave yet.
I think that would be. I feel like that'll be either really good because of the passion of the fans, and the vengeance, or it could be utterly terrible because of De Laurentiis. You know, there's no in between there, and I don't know if I try to avoid that sort of conflict right there. So again, like I'd be looking at a guy.
Not a good owner to have backing you.
No, definitely not. Because he'll buy who he wants to buy. He's already said he's done that. So like, why? What makes it any different now? That's why, like for him, like I'd be looking at, if I'm Napoli, like a coach that plays like almost like a champagne football, like an Italiano, like a Dionisi, like something within the league that knows the league and is doing decent enough.
No.
And you know, like Sassuolo again, they're not good. But somehow Dionisi every year keeps them afloat, troubles all the best teams in the league, and then gets railed 4-0 against the relegation side. But maybe with better players, he'll do better. You know, I don't know.
Juve and Inter's only loss this season came to Sassuolo.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I like. But then you'll see him like this week that just passed. Like they lost 2-0, and it's like how? Like you just rivaled fucking Juve last week. Like I don't know, but yeah, I just think Napoli definitely needs a new coach.
They need to reevaluate in the summer. You know what? It is what it is. This title defense is going to be bad. It's going to be a bad year. You're probably not going to make it.
I'm sure they'd at least want to finish within a European spot. And I know they're in it right now, but
it's going to be tough for them. It's going to be tough. They might squeeze in the summertime. You look, you get rid of him, and you look and see what actually makes sense and not just what's the cheapest option.
Yeah. But
that's their problem is De Laurentiis. He always wants to go for the cheapest option, and then he randomly gets Ancelotti and Spalletti on the team, and then takes it for granted.
It's actually still crazy.
He got lucky that he ended
It's
up
actually
so
crazy to me that Ancelotti was there.
I know,
and he was sacked.
Yeah,
and then he was at Everton.
Yeah,
and he was sacked.
I was just living his best life in Madrid.
I'm sorry. This is what I mean. Like, this is why anybody that tells me no, like this coach is whatever, this coach is whatever. Some coaches are just bred for certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what, Ancelotti's a bad coach because he failed with Napoli and thing? No.
Ancelotti, it just proved he's not a guy that can, go to whatever team with, whatever guys, some good guys, some average guys, and then try to make something out of that. You give him an already ready team that, they've been through, like a guy like Conte, who he was very good at, putting this team together. He did it with Juve and with Inter.
Building a good core.
And then have it like Ancelotti. If Ancelotti went to Inter before, like Inzaghi never went, and he ended up going there, dude, Ancelotti would have done very, very good things with that Inter.
Yeah,
he might have won Champions League last year.
I agree. That's
agree. Just the type of guy he is. And you clearly see that throughout his career, man. He's just like a top dog. He wants, fucking real fucking soccer players, good guys on his team.
Yeah.
And he'll do well. He'll win you a couple of trophies. He's done that in the past.
Speaking of top dogs, we're gonna reference EAFC again. Sorry, but it's been in our group chat all fucking week because apparently we're all just a bunch of losers that love to play EAFC, and even though we complain about how shit it is, we will still play it. But regardless, we saw they released the team of the year, and it fucking sucks because none of these players are that good. In my respectful, humble opinion, I think
some of them definitely do deserve it.
Yeah.
If you look at the team, they
no
do
Liverpool player should be there. Honestly,
or at least not as many.
No Liverpool player should be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with that. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
Because Kyle Walker is a better right back than Jermaine Frimpong. Alisson, I love him. I think he's one of the best goalies in the world, 100%. But City won a treble. You won a Champions League. You won your Premier League. You did everything. You won the treble. Majority of that team should be City players. You should have Kyle Walker, who's the best right back in the world right now. You should have, as much as I don't like him, I will not take away his ability, John Stones as one of the center backs, Ruben Diaz as the other one, Rodri as the center mid, Bernardo Silva because he's an animal. Like, there's so many things. It's just, I don't know.
It's because, man, like now it's with the voting and everything, and you're gonna get people are choosing people on what would be good in the game and who's meta rather than like who actually like deserves a team of the year.
It's a crock of shit to me.
It is, man. I mean, that's EA for you. EA's.
Yeah. EA's FC.
Yes.
26 or whatever. But it regardless though, this got me thinking because growing up, your team of the season, you always had team of the year. You always had, it was always a consistent team. You knew what to expect. You knew there was gonna be the same people. Well, same two people at least. You always had Messi and Ronaldo. Messi's in it this year, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Messi's still in it. Ronaldo's not there. First time in God knows how long.
Not yet. He may be voted as a 12th.
He may be voted as a 12th man. So he's probably actually going to get it because EA's FC.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about Mbappe and Haaland, how essentially those are the two up and coming names, the two people everyone are basically trying to say are the next greatest rivalry.
Yeah.
But are they? Is that actually the next greatest rivalry?
I don't think it's going to be like the greatest. I don't know. Sorry. I don't think it's going to be like Messi and Ronaldo level that these guys are going to just be, changing the game and change the way you just look at people's abilities and what they can do. I don't think they're going to do that. But I do think for the next, I'd say decade, they're going to dominate. I think that they're going to be the two guys that, we're going to look at whether it's, on the stats, on the stat sheet or playing PlayStation and looking at your team of the year, they're going to be guys that you're always seeing consistently in it, I feel.
Yeah.
Like they're always going to be.
Yeah, that's a sad reality to me because like you saw Messi and Ronaldo, what they were doing at their age. Like, okay, yes, Haaland did win the treble in his first year at City, 100%. But look at the team he had around him. Like if anything, Haaland was a tap-in merchant at times, because Rodri, animal, God. De Bruyne, God. Bernardo Silva, God. Like, he had everything around that worked out. And you could look at me and argue and say, oh, like Messi didn't. He had Xavi and Iniesta. He had Busquets. He had this guy. Yeah, okay, but you still look. Messi went on individual runs. Yeah. Messi created
from
a lot.
Half, went through a whole team and scored.
Like he had that ability, whereas Haaland doesn't have that ability.
No.
Okay, and then you had Ronaldo. Dude, what he was doing with United, what earned him a move to Real Madrid. It was only later in his career Ronaldo turned into Penaldo or whatever. But like the peak of Ronaldo's prowess, untouchable.
Oh,
That guy was like a specimen. Like he was mental. And I look at Haaland and Mbappe now. It's like you will never compare to these two.
Yeah.
And everybody's trying to do that though. That's what pisses me off.
It's gonna be a long time until we see, never mind 2 players, 1 player that just comes onto the scene and just dominates the way Messi or Ronaldo did.
And that's the thing. I'm not asking to have like another one of those, like a generational
Mhm.
battle. I don't care for that. I'm just saying the overall quality of everybody, I think, has dropped significantly. You have people talking about Bellingham, Musiala, Pedri, Gavi. I think they're good players, yes. But I don't think they will ever be at the standard of players that we saw. Obviously, like
Joel,
their career has to play out.
I was thinking about this the other night too, man. Like looking back and like when I was watching soccer, in my younger days and when I was still playing and just, watching any game I would put on TV. And I'm not looking at it, thinking about it now. It's like, oh yeah, like they're actual legends on FIFA. Or like, these guys are actually, legends. Like they did a lot in their career. At the time, like I was like, these like I knew what I was watching. I knew the kind of players I was watching. I was like, holy fuck, like this team has. Like, I didn't know this team has this guy or this guy went over here now. And any team I would put on TV. Majority of the time it was obviously Juve or Serie A. But I was still watching a lot of Prem games because my brother got me into Liverpool because he liked the Beatles and he liked Liverpool. So he started watching them. Then he also liked Chelsea because when they got Torres. And I was watching Chelsea. And those were really like my two Prem teams. Then my friend Jay, United fan, started watching United games as well.
Yeah.
So kind of watching everything and seeing all these different stars on these teams. And like I think about now and I'm going through like the top teams and I'm like, dude, nobody we're lacking that so much, man. It's fucking insane. Like,
well, sure, every player thinks the only way for them to become a good player is if they're on Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah.
Like what?
And they make the move way too premature, majority of them, and then they don't become anything.
Yep, I agree. I don't think like again, I hate saying it. I hate to be this negative Nancy, but I don't know. I just don't see it ever becoming to the level it was like growing up.
We can see obviously, in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, we start looking at these guys here. Okay, hey, maybe we're look at them and like, oh yeah, like that guy, he with everything he did, like he really changed the game. Probably one of the best in his position, but. Those guys there, when they were like in the prime of their years, or even just before that, we were already saying like, hey, he's probably like
this guy's gonna become.
We were saying at the time, like, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
He is the best to ever play this position, or he's one of the best to ever play this position.
Yeah.
We already knew that, and like going out of it now, we're like, hey, we weren't wrong.
Yeah,
we were right.
Yeah.
And with now, you don't see too much of that, man.
No, and you won't. But you will see a lot of.
What will you see?
Us building teams
every week, baby.
Every week we will have a new team for us to build. Wait, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. To build. Yeah. And in light of the AFCON going on, we thought we would build. There's not going to be any restrictions because are we as smart as we think we are? No. So we're going to try to obviously not just choose one nation, obviously, but we're going to build a team of the best African footballers.
Joe,
self-explanatory.
What better time than now?
AFCON's on, baby. So Al, would you like to start things off with the team, or do you want me to start it off?
Oh, sorry, I can start. I'll start off in net. We'll go, first formation. We'll go 4-3-3.
Okay.
In net, I'm gonna go with, maybe not the longevity on the guy or just the consistency people thought he would have had, but for the year he had and people were calling him the best goalie of the year. I'm gonna put Mendy in net.
Eduardo Mendy.
Okay. Yeah. He had a very good run in Champions League.
I thought you were gonna say Onana. I'm not gonna.
No, fuck Onana.
Okay, good.
But he played for Inter, and now he's getting exposed and he's shit. So I would never take that guy on my team. Okay. Mendy, Chelsea legend. I'll take him.
Okay, I'm gonna make it quick, simple. This was one of my favorite players. Loved watching him because he was just a little bull, and there was always like an ongoing joke with him. Like I would always be Côte d'Ivoire when I was younger because I loved him. Emmanuel Eboué on right back.
Okay, yeah, it's your right back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, right back, left back.
Yeah. Okay, so my first center back. Never had the chance to have him on Juve. Always did. We were linked to them a couple times. He scored a goal for us one time that helped us beat his team. I'm taking Koulibaly as my first center back.
That's not a bad shout, actually. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of forgot about Koulibaly. I was thinking. I'm
I
not
always
gonna.
remember
I
him,
was.
man.
Even though I said I'm not gonna choose everyone from the Ivory Coast,
That guy was an animal.
I was only thinking of Kolo Toure.
That guy was
but-
an animal.
You just sparked something. So for me, my other center back.
Wait, is that from Ivory Coast, Koulibaly?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but I was saying under my breath. Like, I was gonna choose
Oh.
Kolo. I thought you were gonna go with Kolo Toure.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait a second, Joe.
No. I'm gonna go with he played for both our teams actually. Moroccan legend Mehdi Benatia.
Known for a lot of controversy in his day, especially against Madrid. But
Fucking prick.
that is the past. We have moved on from it. But he's our center back now.
Yeah. Should have
Um,
never left Roma. You fucking.
you know, kind of pissed he left us to go to Juve, to go to Inter. But you know, he had some very good years at Juve. Did very well. He was, a very quiet guy. Didn't do anything really flashy, but he was always there and he always gave it 100%.
I know what you're saying.
I'm going with Asamoah.
Say his first name.
Guaduo.
I feel like when you say his first name, it's supposed to be like the letter R, like Corrado or something. But it's just Guaduo.
Guaduo. Asamoah.
I do love Guaduo.
I do love.
Easy enough midfield. We said 4-3-3, right?
Yeah, 4-3-3.
4-3-3. This is very simple now. So nice. They had to name him twice. JJ Okocha, uncle of Alex Iwobi, right?
Yes, uncle.
I don't know actually how it would be father if they didn't even have the same last name. Just ignore me. But I'm going to go with JJ Okocha. More of an attacking player.
Okay.
So let's try to balance this out.
So it's a 4-3-3-4 with a cam.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So first center mid, pretty obvious that it has to be the first choice. He's going to be the first midfielder on the game sheet. So nice. They also had to name him twice. Yaya Toure.
Yeah.
Go.
I know you made a mistake, but it's okay. Don't worry.
Trying to speed it up. I'm going to do the whole chat right now.
No, but yeah.
We're already out here for an hour. These guys are going to stop listening, Joe.
You're right. Okay. My next pick. Nobody showed up to this guy's birthday when he signed for Real Madrid. Poor thing. But I love this man because he's just no nonsense, animal, strong motherfucker. We're going with Michael Essien. Ghanaian fucking star. I was actually debating on choosing Seydou Keita because it was a Roma legend that time. And he played for Barcelona for 25 minutes.
We got to go Essien.
But Essien is actually like
class
way
act.
better.
Class act.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the three mids. Now we're on to the attackers. Okay. I'm going to start off.
This is easy.
On the right side, I'm going to start off as on the right wing, okay? I'm going to go with, he is the father of one of my childs on my team, of one of my children.
I was going to say, whoa.
It's going to be George Weah on the right.
George Weah cooked.
He cooked, man.
Okay, wait, though. Can we agree on something? We're going to make it more central. Because Weah wasn't really much of a winger, George. He was more like a striker.
No, he also played on the wing.
No, but I want to play central.
Okay.
This is what I'm trying to say. I want to play central. Because the guy I'm going to say isn't a winger, but like, it requires a dance move.
Okay, Drew. Okay, man. This is our team. If he's good and he's quick, we play him on the wing. Put Gervinho on the wing. Roma legend.
I was gonna actually.
Okay, no. Fuck you. I'm keeping Weah on the wing.
Yeah,
father, like son. He's staying on the wing.
Fine. You know what? Then I think for me, it's an easy one.
Are you going left wing or striker?
Left wing.
Okay.
Left wing. Obviously, I'm gonna go with like friggin' Adel Taarabt. No, I'm kidding. Adel Taarabt, if it was like a Streets don't forget moment, even though the Streets have forgotten about him. I'm gonna go with the first ever guy I saw dancing when he scored a goal. And my dad would always show me, especially when my dad learned how to use any social media and like stuff like that. He learned what a computer was. He would go on YouTube and it was the same guy. Joseph, look at him. Look how fucking fast he was. I'm going to go with Roger Mila.
I thought you were going to go.
I was going to go with that, though.
I thought you were going to go with Sadio Mane.
No,
he's the best footballer in the world.
I actually never rated Sadio Mane. I don't like him.
He's the best footballer in the world.
No, he's a loser.
I'm being serious. What are you laughing for?
It was either that or Nkwanku Kanu, but he's more of like a striker.
Okay.
Like 6'8" fucking weapon.
Now nothing is left but the striker.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna change it up from last week. Last week in Mourinho's team,
Yeah, we put Drogba.
you took Drogba.
That had to.
So this week, I'm going to take the other,
Adebayor.
no,
Oh.
the second best African striker.
Seydou
Samuel
Doumbia.
Eto'o. Okay.
Oh,
I was going to say Ibarbo, actually.
he's
Remember, he's Colombian.
I thought you were gonna say
Test your
Emmanuel
ball
Emenike,
knowledge there, Joe.
buddy.
Just testing you. See, guys. He's not as bad as.
I
you
was
think,
gonna
guys.
say
He's pretty good.
Oshualia.
Oshualia.
No, okay. So who was it again? Say it again. Sorry,
Samuel Eto'o as our
Samuel
striker.
Samuel Eto'o.
Yeah.
Probably the worst person you could have chosen.
No, pretty happy with it.
All speed, just vibes up top.
That's okay, man.
No, I'm kidding,
all you
I'm
need to do is
kidding.
finish,
He's
man.
actually, I'd probably argue he's one of, if not the best African player of all time.
Drogba
Besides Roger Mila, because he dances.
and Drogba.
And Drogba. Yeah, okay. Like top 3, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Top 4.
Easy.
Your Weah's up there too.
Yeah.
Liberian legend.
It's true. Facts.
We could have actually went with Bono in that.
We could have.
I just realized that because Benati at Morocco. Morocco is also
Could also went with Hakimi. That's boring. Want to change it up, man. Want to keep it
no.
spicy.
It's like I said to you like before that one episode. I always think about people after.
Yeah.
In the moment, I stress. I'm like, oh my god, I can't think of it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I'm saying. And then it's just like, oh wait,
It's always it's
this
after
guy.
the fact. Like, holy fuck, I could use this guy left
Yeah.
wing. This guy. I'm like in the time leading up to, you're like, fuck,
Yeah.
who am I choosing? You're, okay, I choose him. Or who else is there? And you're like, fuck, there's nobody else. Can I choose him?
Yeah, like I could have actually went with instead of Yaya Toure.
I said Yaya Toure.
No, you said Yaya Toure. Okay.
You said Essien
Essien.
and JJ
Why-
Okocha.
I could have went with Cheketot.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Gone too soon. But legends never die.
These are facts.
You know?
And we don't
but
speak
yeah.
anything but facts. So on that note, guys, we're gonna be finishing up here.
Yeah, that's true though.
We just want to say thank you guys for listening. Don't forget, like Joe said at the beginning, to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at UltrasXI. Check out our YouTube channel, UltrasXI. Subscribe, leave a like on every video. And you know what? Hey, maybe if I see you like every video, there might be something in the cards for you. Maybe a jersey off the rack. Who knows? We'll see.
I don't like you guys as much as Al
I have a
does.
Lukaku jersey I want to get rid of. So, man, maybe a jersey off the rack.
I'll take the Lukaku jersey.
It's on Inter.
I don't want the Lukaku
Exactly.
jersey. We'll
So,
give it to
hey,
Sano.
guys, leave a like on every video. You might win the jersey. Who knows?
We
We'll
will.
see.
We will. Sorry. Last thing I will say. Sorry for grabbing your hand there.
No problem.
But we will have a guest on the show next week.
We're bringing a guest by. I know
An Inter fan.
you guys are probably bored of seeing our faces every week,
Yeah.
so we're gonna spice it up next week. We have a little guest planned for next week. Yes, like
Send
Joe
your
said,
questions.
an
That's-
Inter fan.
send your
So
fucking questions.
things might get a little bit spicy next
Yeah,
week.
Brent, no
Joe's
filter.
gonna have put together a nice little script for the young lad we're gonna have
It's
on.
literally just going to be attacking him.
Oh yeah, we're going
the
right for it.
whole
We're going
time.
right for his
I'm
throat.
debating if we should get a fourth guest here that's will join in on
No,
just
no.
attacking.
I just want to know, just me and you just going for him.
Okay. I was gonna probably go dig in more because he's the Juve fan, and like Roma, we suck, so I don't really have much of a say. But anyways,
I'll be the one going for him. But yeah, guys, don't forget to do all that stuff. Like again, you can win the Lukaku jersey if you just like every video. Maybe just need to get rid of it. So please help me out in getting rid of that. Guys, we'll see you next week. We'll hear you next week. Ciao.